In today's video, I'll be covering KT's Eye Care, trading under the ticker symbol KITS on the TSX, as well as KTYCF on the OTC market. And I've covered this company a couple months ago already, but I wanted to bring you guys an update about this company. And the company also reached out to me to do an update on them, so this is a sponsored video by KT's Eye Care. But know that I'm not just doing this video because they reached out to sponsor, but I do also have a vested interest, and I bought into KT stock a couple months ago prior to being reached out to this company. I do believe that KT stock today is undervalued compared to where it's going in the future, and that's based off of two factors. The first one, it has a stellar CEO with a great track record, and the second one is the fact that KT's growth has been on fire recently, and I'll dive into those numbers later on in this video. As well, I'll be going over an analyst report where they have a price target of $17 and they lay out their reasoning as well. So stay tuned for that. As of filming this video, KT stock trades at $8.25, giving it a valuation of close to $260 million. In this past year in 2020, they did revenues of around $75 million. So that gives them a PS ratio of around 3.46. And this company has been growing like crazy. In 2020, KT's revenue doubled what they did in 2019. They had about $36 million in revenue in 2019, and in 2020, they did about $75 million. And to be conservative, I don't believe that KT can continue growing at 100% year over year. I do believe that 50% is realistic next year. Already in Q1, they put out some preliminary reports saying that their total orders in Q1 were 73% higher than Q1 of 2020. So right off the bat, it seems like the company is growing higher than 50% year over year. However, we don't actually have the revenue numbers behind this order growth. And I do believe the revenue growth is not going to match that 73% of order growth, just because of all the promotions that they've been having in the past couple of months. If you guys don't know already, KT has a promotion going on for their glasses, where you pay about $10 in shipping and you can get glasses for free. And you can get these free glasses if you don't get any extra coatings on the glasses. For those, you're going to have to pay a little bit extra. I myself have personally bought a pair of KT's glasses, and I review them in one of my previous videos, so if you want to check that out, you can click on the top right link right up here. What's more exciting about KT's is the fact that their glasses business is growing really quickly right now. They had a record of 41,000 patient orders for their eyeglasses delivered in the first quarter of 2021 versus 20,000 in Q4 2020. So they already doubled the amount of eyeglasses orders that they delivered within a single quarter. If we look at the entire year of 2020, KT shipped 39,000 pairs of eyeglasses for the fiscal year. So then Q1 alone, they already blew their 2020 record. So what's that going to mean for the rest of this year? I mean, I hope that they do more than 41,000 pairs of glasses in the coming quarters. Usually Q4 is the best because everyone's trying to use up their benefits at the end of the year. That's probably one factor as to why Q4 was about half the sales in 2020 of 39,000. And why this is super exciting is because glasses have about 2 times the margin of contact lenses. And for background information, KT started out as more of a contact lens company, where they would ship people monthly boxes of contacts. And slowly they shifted over to eyeglasses because people who wear contacts typically also have glasses as well. So KT is able to try to cross-sell these glasses to their customers who have contacts. If you guys don't know already, if you look at a pair of glasses, there's not much material in them. So really the cost to make glasses is, I found online, could be about $20 per pair. But yet, it's kind of ridiculous how you go to your optometrist and you pay anywhere from $300 to $500 for a pair of glasses today. At KT's, you're paying about $100 at full price if you get a KT's branded frame. If you're buying something from Ray-Bans or Gucci, for example, you're paying $300 to $400, but you can also buy them from KT's. And this is another thing that's pretty interesting about KT's is the fact that they have high-end brands that are placed next to KT's branded glasses. And ultimately, I believe this does elevate the KT's brand, because when you place high-end goods besides an unknown brand, then naturally as a consumer, you're going to think that other brand is fairly high-end, as long as the aesthetics are there. And for KT's, the aesthetics are there. So with KT's transitioning to more glasses sales, this is going to bring higher margin revenue into the business and ultimately make the company more profitable. One other thing that I want to point out about the glasses business behind Kits is that they have phenomenal reviews. I was searching through the Facebook page on Kits and I saw maybe 2 reviews out of like 50 reviews where people don't recommend Kits glasses. But the problems that these 2 individuals had was one was shipping was very slow and the other one I think they just couldn't find their size. So it wasn't really a problem with the Kits glasses themselves. In fact, everyone who posted that they love Kits glasses, they even posted a picture of themselves. So clearly I believe that Kits is building up a brand that people love and they're willing to share with their friends and recommend to others to purchase. And ultimately, this is like a viral marketing technique, where if one person catches on and shares with their friends or shares on Instagram or does a YouTube review, then this is like free advertising for Kits. And ultimately, I think this is what Kits is going for. If they can create some sort of virality and some content or have people talk about them online, then they don't need to spend dollars or have these promotional advertisements to bring in new customers. And ultimately, as shareholders, if you buy into Kits, then this is a good thing for you. My personal price target for Kits lies somewhere around the $12 range. And I get this by assigning a PS ratio currently of 5 to the company. I believe that a company that's growing about 70%, typically in the technology world, can command a PS ratio of 5. However, Kits isn't fully technology driven, although they do say they have some technology. But I do believe that the growth that they have and the ability to go viral warrants them a PS ratio of around a 5, which is about half of what technology companies or mainly SaaS companies trade at. And with a PS ratio of 5, this gives them a market value of around $375 million or a price per share of around $12 per share. Now let's dive into an analyst report from Canaccord Genuity to see their reasoning behind why they give a $17 price target, which is higher than what my price target is. In this report filed by Canaccord Genuity, published on February 7th, they have a buy rating for Kits at a price target of $17 per share. So that's more than a 100% upside from today's price, which I believe it closed around $8.25. The main driving thesis behind Kits is that they believe Kits offers investors attractive exposure to the highly fragmented, high-margin eye care market. The company's unique 100% online-only business model should allow Kits to exceed the average industry growth rate, as e-commerce eye care penetration is set to accelerate in our view. The company is run by a seasoned management team, which together owns 74% of the shares outstanding and has demonstrated prior success in online eye care market. So I just wanted to stop here to talk a bit more about the management team. So the guy who runs the ship is called Roger Hardy, and currently he owns about 29% of shares outstanding from Kits. So he's well invested in this company. And you probably have never heard of Roger Hardy, but here's a bit of his background and why I believe he's the man to lead this company, and he's going to be able to bring this company success. So Roger Hardy actually ran this company called Coastal Contacts back in the days. And he sold this company off to Essilor in 2014 for a successful exit for investors. And the stock appreciated quite a bit before it was sold off to Essilor. So it wasn't like the company was failing and they're trying to look for an exit, but the company was doing extremely well. However, management probably saw it best fit to sell off this company to Essilor to be able to reward shareholders. And I believe that Roger Hardy's experience with Coastal Contacts gives him a lot more background on how to sell glasses as well as contacts online and not making the same mistakes that maybe people who are newer in the space would do. So I believe that this is one of these intangible aspects about Kits eye care that you can't really put a value on. But it's clear that Roger Hardy does bring some sort of extra value to Kits that maybe just an average Joe CEO off the street would not have. While growth in e-commerce penetration should help drive a larger TAM for Kits, we believe that this will be further augmented by aging population demographics in the US, which I believe they're talking about the baby boomers, and in Canada. As consumers age, the need for vision correction increases, with over 75% of the population eventually needing some form of vision correction. I actually found on this other site over here what percentage of the population wears glasses. According to the Vision Council of America, approximately 75% of adults use some sort of vision correction already. So Canaccord has their facts intact right here. Adding to this secular tailwind is that many people are now spending more time in front of computers, phones, and TV screens, particularly given the new work from home trends, which has helped drive a greater need for vision correction products. So I guess as a kid, you guys all know that your parents probably told you don't sit right in front of the TV or don't sit too close to a screen, otherwise you're going to end up with glasses. And I believe that the need for glasses has increased over the years, and partially this is due to us just looking at screens all day long. Another major growth driver for Kits is the fact that they're going into the eyeglasses market. They just started selling eyeglasses, and currently it only represents 2% of their revenue. But following an expansion of the company's optical lab this year, Canaccord believes that Kits' revenue will grow towards 25% of consolidated revenue from glasses. And this will ultimately help drive EBITDA margins a lot higher. On top of this, Kits is well capitalized, and they estimate that the company will have a net cash position of around $37 million at the end of Q1 2021. And I do believe this is true because the company did raise around $55 million. And when they raised that amount of money through their IPO, they had about $21 million of debt. Further down the report, Canaccord states that revenues they expect to grow to about $116 million in 2021. In 2020, they did about $75 million. So this reflects a year-over-year growth of around 55%. And they also expect the company to do $162 million in 2022, with a growth of 40%. So the company is going to start to slow down their percentage of growth, naturally just because they're getting larger and larger. But 40% growth is still very good for the top line, and I believe this could also be possibly conservative. Just seeing the size of the glasses market and the way that Kits is advertising themselves endlessly and relentlessly, I believe the company could grow a little quicker than 40% as Canaccord estimates. And usually these higher growth companies will be able to beat analyst reports. And I believe that analysts typically are a little conservative on their estimates so that they don't look bad if the company completely misses. Now, the reason why they give a $17 price target is that it represents 3 times their 2022 revenue estimates. And up here, we can see the estimates were $162 million. So taking that and multiplying it by 3, they get roughly a share price of $17 per share. And that's probably barring that Kits doesn't do any sort of capital raises in the next couple of years. If they do a capital raise, then that's obviously going to dilute shareholders and ultimately bring down the price target. Now, for those of you guys who have been in the online glasses market, you probably have also heard of Warby Parker. And Canaccord does address Warby Parker and just looking at their metrics as well. In August of 2020, Warby Parker completed a private funding round of $245 million. And this valued Warby Parker at around $3 billion US. And industry contacts have suggested to Canaccord that Warby Parker will generate sales of around $400 million in 2020. And if they apply a 50% growth rate to that, they arrive at around a $600 million estimate of revenue in 2021, which equates to a 2021 enterprise value to sales metric of 5 times. Now, Canaccord is not saying that Kits and Warby Parker are the exact same and they have the exact same branding power. They do acknowledge that the branding power of Warby Parker is a lot higher than Kits, so it deserves a higher multiple. But they are using the EV to sales metric of Warby Parker to estimate what Kits could be by giving them some sort of discount on that. So they're using a target of 3 times 2022 enterprise value to sales, and that's how they arrived at the 3x of 2022 revenue estimates to generate a valuation for Kits going forwards in the future. Now, before we end off this video, I'm gonna have to talk about some risks behind Kits. So Kits is not the only company or only few companies that are doing online eye care. In fact, there are a ton of companies out there that have online eye care or glasses sales. And I think Kits, what separates them is really their branding. However, it's very hard to place a dollar amount on branding, and currently they don't really have a large market share. So Kits is going to have to be able to build up a larger market share and capture more customers in order to be a valuable business going forwards. Otherwise, they're going to be lost in the sea of other online glasses businesses. So that's the first risk that I see with Kits. The second risk that I see with Kits right now is their Q4 margins from 2020 were fairly low compared to what they were in 2019. It dropped from around 31% down to about 23%, which is slightly concerning as an investor because they did move to a higher margin product, glasses. But that being said, the reason why they have lower margins in Q4 of 2020 is the fact that they had a lot of promotions going on. So this whole get free Kits glasses and only pay shipping is definitely going to take a huge hit on their margins. However, I do believe this is a short-term thing where these promotions are used more to build up their brand and have their name known by customers. And once customers purchase from them once, the goal is to have them come back every single time and purchase glasses. And that way the first pair may be free, but the second, third, fourth, and fifth pair, they pay close to full price or maybe 40% off. And that way Kits will be able to capture a higher margin. And even if they're selling the glasses for like $60 a pair, for example, they still could profit around $40 based off of an average cost per glasses of $20 in material and labor. If Kits' marketing activity only works to get people in the door for the free pair of glasses, and they can't continue to sell glasses at a higher price to these customers, then their marketing efforts are wasted. So this is a risk that we're taking on as investors. If you guys want to see a few more risks, you can check out the Canaccord Genuity report, where they outline about 5 or 6 risks that you must take as an investor. Before we end off this video, I'd love to hear your comments, especially if you've bought a pair of Kits glasses. What was your experience, or would you recommend them to friends or family? If you want to check out 2 other videos on Kits Eye Care that were not sponsored, if you guys are aware about sponsored content, they're up on the screen here. If you're there, I'll see you there. If not, keep up the grind and have a great day.